Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, clinical trials can provide a potentially life-saving option that is otherwise not available. We'll research their availability. Then, ready to roll over your 401k funds? There's been a change for the better. We'll inform you about the update. We'll divulge data on how we can control cancer and ask for your assistance. Plus, need a ride? We'll connect you to a unique program that offers door-to-door service. And the rules for reverse mortgages have been revised. We'll evaluate the adjustments.
It's time to get geoing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. When given a diagnosis of cancer, you know there will be a treatment plan, but you still wonder, is there something else, possibly something better you could try? And there might just be. Dr. Joanna Burrell is here to prescribe the benefits of participating in a clinical trial. Dr. Burrell is the Associate Cancer Center Director for Clinical Research at MetroHealth. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lori.
So I know that there are many clinical trials out there going on, for all kinds of different things, like hypertension and diabetes, but these are specifically for cancer clinical trials. So how did they begin?
Well, there's a great need, as you know, to find more effective therapies. Scientists are always looking into improving the treatments that we have. Even in cancers that are curable, such as Hodgkin's disease and early stage breast cancer, there's a need to find treatments that are less toxic. Meaning people have less side effects from the treatments, and that's important as people survive these cancers and won't be affected by the side effects as they go on.
How does the money come about for them?
Usually from the National Cancer Institute. That's one important place to get money for research. Pharmaceutical companies will also sponsor their own trials, and then investigators, such as people at centers like MetroHealth, will write their own trials.
Okay, so how do patients know to sign up?
Well, they talk to their oncologist, and their oncologist is usually one who recommends that they go on a clinical trial because the oncologist knows their cancer type, their condition, and what clinical trials are available. The oncologist tries to make a match to see if the patient fits the criteria.
Okay, is there a way that people can search it out for themselves even?
They sure can. You can go on cancer.gov and look for clinical trials in the area, but also just ask your physician.
Okay, sounds easy. So if you're in a trial, is there any chance that you're going to be on a placebo, to compare nothing to the trial cancer therapy that's being tested?
Well, that's a really good question. So in the common cancer trials, treatment trials, you're testing a new drug versus the standard of care. So you are randomly assigned to either one or the other. So you're always getting treatment for your cancer. Some trials give everyone the new treatment, and there's other trials there's trials that when there is no standard therapy, you might be assigned a placebo. So for instance, if we're looking at preventing a certain type of cancer and there's no therapy for that, it's right to give someone a placebo.
Okay.
But those trials are not common.
Okay, so normally you're in some kind of a treatment group, so they can tweak what's going on with you, just like you're getting just regular treatment?
You'll find that when you're in a clinical trial, it's just like regular treatment. You get the same CAT scans and assessments that you normally would. The physician's always looking to see if the treatment's still working for you or not.
Okay, so if you meet the criteria for a trial, either referred or you find it,
yes.
and you ask to get into it, what are the commitments that you have?
So you do have to commit to a schedule. So the trial will say you need your blood work and your MRI on Tuesday, and you need to commit to be there. If your treatment can only be done on Thursday, you need to make arrangements to make sure you can get treated.
Okay.
You can always stop a clinical trial at any time if you find it's just not working out for you.
So what's the advantage then, getting into it?
There's several advantages, and the two most important to me are, first of all, you're getting extra attention. So you have a clinical trials team that's working with you, and extra attention is always good.
Always a good thing, especially with cancer.
And then a lot of people enter clinical trials to get better treatment, but you're also doing something for the people down the line, and you're really helping others that will come behind you to decide what would be a good new treatment.
Yeah, and that's a noble thing.
It's a
help
very
yourself
noble
and help
thing.
everybody else at the same
Yeah.
time. So the trials of cancer can be lifted a little, knowing that taking part in a clinical trial may help not only you, but others. To learn more or to see if you're eligible for a clinical trial, ask your physician or use the number that's coming up next. My thanks to Dr. Brell for joining us today.
Thank you.
To learn more, call MetroHealth at 216-778-7800 or log on to www.metrohealth.org. Next, from a 401k to an IRA. But first, our founding fathers focused on a revolutionary way to finance their fight for freedom. And in fact, we still use this method to raise money for other matters. What is the technique? That doesn't involve taxes, but does by chance increase income in our area? We'll announce the winning answer right after this.
Here, we're improving the health of our community. Here, a student sees a doctor without ever leaving school. Here, a stroke survivor regains the use of his right hand. Here, a foster child gets the consistent care he deserves. Here, and here, we're breaking new ground every day. So we can break ground here tomorrow. Be a part of the MetroHealth transformation. It's good for everyone. Here.
A lottery was just the ticket to revolutionize fundraising so the colonies could combat their former king and country. But even before battles brewed, lotteries led to lasting legacies: roads, libraries, churches, colleges, and more, turning this money-making method into a win-win.
You know those makeover shows where you see a before and an after? Well, today we have a kind of financial makeover. With this, you need to look at before tax and after tax contributions to your 401k. Then you can reveal the amazing results of a successful rollover into 2 IRAs, traditional and Roth. Jim Lineweaver is here to help us understand the path to this beautiful transformation. Jim is a certified financial planner professional with the Lineweaver Financial Group. Welcome again to the show.
Nice, good morning.
All right, we got before tax, after tax, 401k, IRA, Roth IRA. Oh my gosh, how does this all work?
Well, it can be confusing, which is why we're trying to bring this to your viewers' attention. Because with a 401k, what you'd ideally like to do is if you have pre-tax money, you want to roll that over to a traditional IRA. And if you have after-tax money, you'd like to roll it over to a Roth, because the Roth can grow tax-deferred and totally come out tax-free whenever you want to use that money in retirement.
That's a good thing. So it sounds like a good plan. Some kind of problem there?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, up until now, there's only been 2 ways to execute this transition. And recognize that a lot of people don't realize, but at 59.5, if they're in their employer plan, they can take partial rollovers outside while they're still working. So if you're going to do that, what ends up happening is a lot of times in the past, what happened was the employer would only cut 1 check. And when they do that, and if you have part pre-tax and after-tax, they would lump the whole thing together. So now all of a sudden, a traditional IRA account, you have some after-tax money. And keeping that down the road for taxes when you take it back out so you don't get hit twice with taxes is an absolute nightmare.
Okay, so it's a difficult thing when you're trying to get it out. So any other options that might be better than that?
Yeah, well, there was one other ruling that they had that you could use to be able to use too, and what happened was they would actually allow you to get the full check, but then there's going to be a mandatory 20% withholding, and in order to get that back into an IRA within 60 days, you'd physically have to come up with that money. Big chunk of change out of your pocket. So now under the new rules, what they allow the employer to do is they can actually issue 2 checks. So have one go directly to the Roth, one go directly to the traditional. It's a lot easier, it's a lot cleaner, can be made out to the custodians. You don't have to worry about tax ramifications, and you can really get what you want accomplished.
Wow, so this is a brand new change in the tax law?
It is, and it's allowing employers to actually allow this to be distributed according to the participants' wishes, which is really helpful.
The IRS did something that's a good thing?
Yeah, well, they probably had a lot of pressure on this one.
All right, so I think I understand what you're talking about, but do you have an example example maybe that you could
I do,
kind of
because this
talk
could
it
really
through?
help. Yeah, because if you don't do it right, you can really mess up. But what we did is we just looked at, let's say you have $100,000 in your 401k. And let's say $5,000 of that was after-tax money, or 5%. Under the old rules, if you're rolled over $20,000 at 5%, 1,000 of that's after-tax money, so therefore 19,000 would be pre-tax, and then 1,000 would have been after-tax money. But it's all inside that same account, so you got to keep track of that 1,000 for the rest of your life. The rollover, if you do the same thing with the new rules, the $20,000, they're going to break those two checks up. You'll have a $19,000 pre-tax check go right to the IRA. The other 1,000 can go to your Roth. Much cleaner, much simpler, and a lot less headaches.
All right, and that's what we always want, a lot less headaches there. So before putting your money from your 401k where you wanted it, it used to turn into an ugly mess. Now, after this new change, rolling over your IRA into two IRAs, or your 401k into two IRAs, traditional and Roth, creates financially beautiful results. Need the step-by-step on making this makeover work for your particular situation? Give Jim a call. His number's next.
For more information, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or click to www.lineweaver.net. Next, overcoming cancer. Looking for places to go? Things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. It's essential to understand estate planning, so plan to attend a free seminar on Estate Planning for Everyone, presented by the law offices of Solomon, Steiner, and Peck. It will take place Monday, April 20th at 1 p.m. at Doubletree Beechwood and at 7 p.m. at Holiday Inn South. On Wednesday, April 22nd, the seminar will be offered at 7 p.m. at the Middleburg Heights Community Center. To reserve your seat, call 216-245-0185 or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
The word cancer still strikes fear into the hearts of anyone who hears it, but there are things you can do to lessen your risk. Dr. Robert Reznicki is the Chief Medical Officer at Medical Mutual of Ohio, and he's here to help us take steps to prevent cancer. So, April is what? National Cancer Control Month, right?
It is.
You, along with that, you have some good news and some bad news. So let's, I guess, start with the bad news.
Yeah, sometimes we do start with the bad news.
Yeah, get it over with.
Yeah, and that's good. Yeah, well, the bad news is that cancer is still all around us, Lori, and deaths from that are still all over. The people who die in the United States from anything in the course of a year, 1 in 4 is from cancer. So it's still out there.
It's bad still. So now we heard in an earlier segment about the cancer trial. So if you already have cancer, that can be helpful. But can you really prevent cancer?
There are a lot of things that you can do. Surprisingly, there are a lot of things you can do to prevent cancer. One of the biggest barriers, though, for all of us is that a lot of people, probably including ourselves, say, it can't happen to me.
Right.
I won't get cancer. Or you're a procrastinator and you say, well, I know what I should do. It's the right thing to do, but I'll start tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. So that procrastination can make it just too late. So what should we be doing? What can we actually do if we stop procrastinating and start something?
Yeah, there are some surprisingly easy things for us to do. And we've talked before about diabetes and heart disease, and some of those same things come true for preventing cancer. A healthy diet, exercising regularly, avoiding too much alcohol. Your mother probably told you alcohol is okay as long as you only have a little, and that's the truth here. So if you restrict your intake to just a drink, and men maybe a drink or two a day or occasionally, that won't get you into trouble. But there are cancers associated with too much alcohol.
And you mentioned exercise before. Is there a perfect amount, or is there a suggested amount of time you should exercise?
It's recommended that you exercise approximately 30 minutes a day, but this needs to be checked out with your doctor, because if your doctor doesn't say this is the right amount for you, or you're doing it inappropriately, you're going to get yourself into trouble.
Okay, and some of the other things on your list.
Yeah. If we were going to talk about one thing, and if everyone could pay attention today, if they're going to do anything today, it would be to stop smoking or get a loved one to stop smoking. Because if we tally up all the cancer deaths, the one that towers over everything else is lung cancer, and that's vastly coming from tobacco.
Okay.
But there are some other things. The sun exposure is a problem, and dermatologists laughingly talk about sun exposure as being sun poisoning because it's associated not just with premature aging of the skin, but it's associated with lots of types of skin cancer. And as we age, that can be a problem for us.
Okay.
Some of it is lifestyle too, Lori. You know that there are certain viruses that are associated with high-risk behavior that can lead to liver cancer or various types of cancer. So having a prudent, safe lifestyle is helpful.
Okay, so in addition to lifestyle, there are certain things we need to be screened for on a periodic basis, correct?
Right. There are certain cancers that we cannot prevent. There are certain high-risk groups because of your genes, for example. And those sorts of situations, you should be screened for that. Not only because it could be detected before you have it, but if you have it, it could be found in the very early stages before you get into trouble with it. And it can be then easily treated and prevent you from dying from it, but maybe you'll just die with it.
All right, well, we put those up on the screen. Hopefully our viewers are going to pay attention because you know the saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So follow Dr. Reznicki's steps to stop cancer before it starts, and talk to your doctor to learn what preventative actions and screening tests are right for you. My thanks to Dr. Reznicki for joining us today.
Thank you.
Find out more about Medical Mutual of Ohio by visiting their website, www.medmutual.com/2015 options, or call 1-866-488-3266. Next, going my way? It's time to get up and go, an exercise minute on golden opportunities.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we're going to show you how to strengthen those ever-important shoulder muscles. You ready to go?
I am absolutely ready to go.
Let's do it. We have exercise bands here. This is called a front raise using our exercise band. What we're going to do is we're going to step on the center of the band. Okay, we want to again offset our feet so that way we make sure we stay nice and balanced. Maintain very good posture. All we're going to do is simply bring the handle of the band up to about shoulder height and then lower it back down to your thigh, okay? Again, we're looking for 15 to 20 repetitions on this one. Use slow and controlled movements and make sure you're breathing. How you feeling, Lori?
Oh, that's tough.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
and
this is a
actually,
good
Lori
one.
is doing a very good variation of this exercise where she's using both arms together. So you can do either individually or like Lori's doing here, you can do them both together.
Cut time in half.
That's right, fantastic. All right, everybody, 12 to 15, 2 to 3 sets. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
You've got places to go and people to see, but finding a way to get there and back may stop your trip before it starts. That's where Senior Transportation Connection comes in. Janice Ziegel is the executive director of this program, and she's parked herself at our kitchen table to map out how this service works. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lori.
Now, the title is Senior Transportation Connection, so I'm assuming that this service is for seniors.
Yes, it is primarily for people 60 years of age or older. Currently, we serve seniors in 26 suburban municipalities, as well as the city of Cleveland, and a number of nonprofit organizations. Last year, we delivered over 130,000 trips to seniors living in those communities.
That's pretty amazing. So at what age is a senior considered a senior to be eligible?
Typically in our program, that's 60 years of age or older. However, most of our riders are probably 75 years of age or older. It's where that person is unable to drive safely anymore. We want senior transportation to be that premier provider of services and give those older adults a good option to access services.
Okay, is there any time that anybody younger than that can get in on the rides?
We do in some communities transport younger disabled individuals, but that is really by community.
Okay, so now you were talking about service transportation providers. I thought that you guys were the providers.
We are the provider, and actually the way our service works is we contract with those individual communities and organizations to be the provider and full provider of service. So we manage a call center where older adults call into our 1-800 number to request their ride, and then we schedule the service, confirm it the day before, and have a very high-quality driving staff who go out and provide as much assistance as possible to deliver the ride.
Okay, so it's not one of those things where that you can just call and say, hey, I need somebody to take me to the doctor in a half an hour.
No.
There's a different process than that?
There is a process, and the process begins with the individual being registered to use our service. That is typically done through the local Office on Aging or through the Cleveland Department on Aging. But calling our 1-800 number, we'd be happy to direct you on how to do that.
Okay, so how long have you guys been around?
We are happy to celebrate our 10th anniversary this year.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you. We started in 2005, and most importantly, we will be delivering our 1 millionth ride sometime in June or July of this year. So we are very excited to be celebrating that.
You're going to have a big celebration when that happens?
You'll hear about it.
So what types of rides, so where are you taking the people that you're providing a ride to?
Well, our riders go where you and I need to go. The grocery store, the doctor's appointment, get your hair done, go to the post office. Anywhere we would go, older adults need to go. And we don't limit our service. We intend to get people where they need to go to meet their needs.
Okay, is there a time frame, like is it just during the week, business hours kind of thing?
Currently, it's Monday through Friday, roughly 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We do have some a little outside of that, but that's our typical operating schedule.
Okay, and how much does it cost for a trip?
Well, the community is paying the majority of the cost of the service. However, the consumer does pay anywhere from 50 cents a one-way trip up to $5, depending on purpose and distance.
That's not so bad.
Not so bad. And it's a good, reliable, high-quality service.
So how do you make sure your drivers know what they're doing? They get special training?
Lots of training. I will tell you, we work with a very good group of drivers who are very committed to providing a high-quality service.
All right, sounds fantastic. So getting out and about is good for your health, and it just got easier. To tap into this transportation service, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Janice Ziegel for steering us toward this helpful and important program.
Find out more by calling Senior Transportation Connection at 1-800-983-4STC. That's 4782. Or log on to www.ridestc.org. Next, the facts about going forward about reverse mortgages.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back to bring home important new facts about reverse mortgages. For many older Americans, the house is their biggest asset. Over the last several decades, reverse mortgages have become a much-used tool for people 62 or older to tap into their equity without having to sell their house. But beginning April 27th, it's going to get harder and more expensive to get a reverse mortgage. Here with the details is my partner, Michael Solomon.
Hi, Lori.
So let's start with the basics. Explain what is a reverse mortgage.
Well, as you mentioned, a reverse mortgage allows someone 62 or over to tap into their equity. They can borrow the equity on their home. They don't have to make the mortgage payments or interest payments. All they have to do is pay, property taxes and other expenses of the house. So let me give you an example. Let's say you got a reverse mortgage for $100,000. You could take it out in a lump or in payments, no income taxes on it, and then all you have to do is pay the upkeep of your house, but no mortgage or interest until you sell the house, you leave, or you pass away.
But the government's going to make it harder now, right? So why, if it's so popular, why would the government do this?
Well, the Great Recession. What happened, as you know, the Great Recession, no one thought real estate would drop in value. So you have all these mortgages, and now a lot of the homes are underwater, or there's not enough equity to pay back the loan. So if they pass away, again, it has to be sold, or they move out of the house, or they sell the house. If there's not enough equity to pay back that loan, the FHA, which has been insuring that, the government, ends up paying the banks all that money. So the government wants to make it harder and more expensive to get these reverse mortgages.
Okay, so what are the new rules to qualify?
Well, just like in the past, they look at your age, the interest rates, and the equity in the home. That's the normal thing they all will do. Now they're starting to look at the income the person earns and their credit history. And after they look at all that, they look at your expenses to live in the house, they look at the property taxes and insurances. And if they determine that you don't have enough money, then they're going to reduce the amount they loan you, or they possibly are going to make you set up an escrow account like a regular mortgage where some money is set aside to make sure insurance is paid and property taxes are paid. So it's making it more difficult.
So they're making it more difficult. You said it would also make it more expensive.
That's the other thing. If you don't have enough income, so if you're borrowing too much money, they're going to make you put up to 2.5% of the appraised value of your home aside in an escrow account to pay for mortgage insurance to guarantee the mortgage. So it's more expensive, and it's also more cumbersome and harder to get.
Okay, good program, but it's harder now. Reverse mortgages are going to get harder and harder and more costly. Whether you think a reverse mortgage is for you depends on your situation. Before you apply for a reverse mortgage, you should sit down with your financial advisor and a mortgage lender to see if it's right for you. Want more info? Give Mike a call at the number that's coming up next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. On next week's show, when you suffer a burn, the heat is on to save your skin. We'll share cool tips on avoiding this inflammatory injury. Then we'll map out ways to help your disabled loved one find the road to success. Plus, you've never seen Cleveland like this. We've signed up for terrific tours of our favorite town. And we'll explain why a power of attorney is a powerful tool for you and your family. But until then, make sure to make the most of your golden opportunities.
Would you like to join our kitchen conversation? All you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-765-1543 and leave us your question, name, and phone number. Or log on to www.golden.tv for all the latest information and show updates.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.